Hi, I am Antaryami and welcome to my channel. In this video, I will explain you about primary production in an ecosystem. So let's start. So what is primary production? Primary production is the production of new organic matter or biomass by autotrophs, specifically the green plants, in an ecosystem per unit area or volume during some period of time. And the rate of production is known as productivity. Now, this is the first basic form of energy storage in an ecosystem, as plants are the primary level of producers. So, primary production can be classified or grouped into two different types, that is net primary production, which is denoted as NPP, and gross primary production denoted as GPP. So, gross primary production is the total primary production by all primary producers in the ecosystem, whereas net primary production is the gross primary production minus respiration by primary producers, as during the course of production some of the energy is lost by respiration. So, the net primary production is the amount of energy in the form of biomass available to the consumer in an ecosystem. So, NPP can be calculated as GPP minus R, that is gross primary production minus respiration. Productivity is usually expressed in units of energy per unit area per unit time, that is as kilocalorie per meter square per year, or as expressed in the dry organic matter, that is gram per meter square per year. So, the amount of accumulated organic matter found in an area at a given time is known as standing crop biomass, or simply denoted as SCB. So, biomass particularly expressed as gram per meter square, hence this standing crop biomass is expressed as gram per meter square. So, standing crop biomass is different from productivity, as productivity is the rate at which organic matter is created by photosynthesis, and the biomass is the amount of organic matter present at a given time. So, it is the amount of energy, or it is the amount of organic matter which is present at a particular given time. We can also measure the net primary productivity of an ecosystem for a specific period of time. The simplest and most common method of measuring net primary productivity in terrestrial ecosystem is to estimate the change in standing crop biomass over a given time interval, that is standing crop biomass at time t2 minus standing crop biomass at time t1. This change in standing crop biomass is the productivity by the ecosystem or by the producers. Two possible losses of biomass over the time period must also be recognized, that is loss of biomass as a result of death of the plant and loss of biomass resulting from consumption by the consumer organism. In this case, the NPP can be calculated as delta SCB plus D plus C. In aquatic ecosystem, the most common method of estimating the net primary productivity is through the light and dark bottle experiment. In this method, the concentration of dissolved oxygen is used as a measuring parameter for the estimation of primary productivity, because oxygen is one of the most easily measured product for both photosynthesis and respiration. So, in this method, water is incubated over a period of time in both light and dark bottle containing the equal weight of aquatic producers. So, in this light and dark bottle experiment, this bottle having a fixed amount of water and phytoplanktons or producer were kept for some time in light for the photosynthesis and respiration. So after some time there is a change in the concentration of oxygen level within the water system. So this change in concentration of oxygen in the water can be used for the calculation of gross primary productivity. So for example, if after the experiment we will get this type of data, that is initial concentration of the bottle is 8 mg per liter and the final concentration at light bottle is 10 mg per liter and in dark bottle is 5 mg per liter. As we know, in the light bottle both the photosynthesis as well as respiration taking place, whereas in dark bottle only the respiration is taking place and there is a absent in the photosynthesis because of no light. So if we deduct the initial minus the dark, then we will get the only how much oxygen is being consumed for the respiration, that is 8 mg per liter minus 5 mg per liter, that is equal to 3 mg per liter. So this is the amount of oxygen which is being used for the respiration purpose. If we deduct light minus initial, that is initially there is a 8 mg per liter and after incubation we will get 10 mg per liter, and in light bottle after incubation as both photosynthesis and respiration takes place, there is a net production of only 2 mg per liter, as we can deduct 10 mg per liter minus 8 mg per liter, that equal to 2 mg per liter. So 2 mg per liter is the net production of oxygen which is being available for the next tropic level. And if we deduct the light minus dark, then we will got the gross primary production, that is actually how much of oxygen is produced irrespective of the respiration. So there is a total of 5 mg per liter of oxygen is produced, out of which 3 mg per liter of oxygen is being consumed because of respiration. That's why we will get only 2 mg per liter of oxygen as a net primary production. So next we will discuss about the patterns of terrestrial primary production, or what are the factors affecting the primary production in terrestrial ecosystem. So in terrestrial ecosystem, the terrestrial primary production generally limited by temperature, moisture and nutrients. Highest rate of terrestrial primary production generally occur under warm and moist conditions having high nutrient concentrations. Influence of moisture and temperature on rates of primary production can be explained by plotting the relationship between the annual net primary production and annual actual evapotranspiration. Annual actual evapotranspiration, or AET, is the amount of water that evaporates and transpires of a landscape during the course of a year and is measured in millimeters. As we can see in this figure, the actual evapotranspiration increase with increase in precipitation and temperature, that is, it is higher in hot and wet condition. And similarly, in this hot and wet condition, there is a increased primary productivity. Similarly, there is a low range of actual evapotranspiration in cold and dry climate, and similarly this cold and dry climate also having the least terrestrial primary productivity. So AET is affected by both temperature and precipitation, and the ecosystem showing the highest level of primary production are those are warm and receive large amount of precipitation, for example the tropical forests. In contrast, ecosystem like desert and tundra exhibit low level of AET because they receive little precipitation and are very cold and dry. Despite the major influence of temperature and moisture on rates of primary productivity, variation in nutrient availability can also have measurable influence. So, in this figure we can see that adding nutrients increase the primary production in both dry and wet meadows irrespective of the climate of the ecosystem. So the addition of nutrients having a positive effect on the primary productivity of the ecosystem. If we can see the primary production in the different terrestrial biomes and ecosystem of the continents, then we can found that highest net primary productivity is for tropical rainforest and tropical seasonal forest, that is about 15,000 to 2,000 gram per meter square per year. Similarly, the swamp and marshes having aquatic type of ecosystem, they having the highest productivity, that is around 2500 gram per meter square per year, whereas the least primary productivity is for desert shrub or rock, ice and sand. In comparison to the mean primary productivity or net primary productivity, if we calculate the primary productivity into biomass ratio, then we can find the P by B ratio is highest for cultivated lands, where the production is much higher as compared to the biomass. That's why P by B ratio is higher, which is followed by the temperate grassland and then followed by the tundra and alpine meadow. But we can also see that the least P by B ratio is for temperate green evergreen forest. In contrast, in lake and stream we can found highest level of P by B ratio because these are the aquatic ecosystem where production is very large as compared to the accumulation of the biomass. So P by B ratio is generally higher here. If we compare the primary production per day and per unit leaf area, it is also varies across different ecosystem, and it is highest for Mediterranean shrublands and deserts because the ratio of daily primary productivity to leaf area index is highest in Mediterranean shrublands and desert, and the primary production per day and per unit leaf area is in order of desert, which is equal to Mediterranean shrublands, is greater than Arctic tundra, then it is greater than temperate grassland, which is greater than tropical forest, which is greater than tropical savannas, and which is followed by temperate forest, crops and boreal forest. Now, if we relate the age with primary production, then there is an age-related decline in primary production. So, there are mainly three factors responsible for the age-related decline in primary productivity. First is nutrient limitation, second is hydraulic limitation, and third is genetic control. So in nutrient limitation, as the stand ages, the ratio of leaf is to woody detritus input gradually decreases during the stand development. This accumulation of woody litter slows the decomposition rate of the litter, which in turn decreases the net nitrogen mineralization as stand ages. So in this method, particularly the nutrient input is gradually decreases because of stand aging, as there is an increased production of woody detritus as compared to leaf litter. In hydraulic limitation, hydraulic resistance increases with tree height, resulting in decreased stomatal conductance owing to a greater path length. A decreased stomatal conductance may decrease canopy photosynthesis because photosynthesis and stomatal conductance are highly coupled. In genetic control, there is a reduced photosynthetic rate that could be controlled by gene expression programmed in meristematic cells in plant stem, resulting in diminishing metabolism rates in aging plants. Next, we will discuss the pattern of aquatic primary production, or what are the factors affecting the aquatic primary production. So light and nutrient availability are the primary controls on net primary productivity in aquatic ecosystem. Light is a primary factor limiting productivity in aquatic ecosystem, and the depth to which light penetrates a lake or ocean is crucial in determining the zone of primary productivity. Photosynthetically active radiation, that is PAR, declines exponentially with water depth. As we can see in this figure, the photosynthetic rate and subsequently the gross productivity of phytoplankton are highest at intermediate level of PAR and decreasing with depth, whereas the respiration rate doesn't change significantly with depth. That's why the point at which the rate of photosynthesis, that is GPP, is equal to the rate of respiration, that is where NPP is equal to 0, is referred to as compensation depth. In ocean, nutrients in deeper water must be transported to the surface water where PAR is sufficient to support photosynthesis. Nutrients, particularly nitrogen, phosphorus and iron, are major limitation on primary production in ocean. Very high productivity occurs in marine communities where there are upwellings of nutrient-rich water even at high altitude and low temperature. Because the coastal upwelling helps in recirculating of the nutrients at the bathing zone or the bottom to the surface of water where there is a high level of PAR, so it supports the primary productivity. The primary production in different aquatic biomes or ecosystems also varies across the different ecosystem. That is, algal beds and reefs and estuaries having the highest rate of net primary productivity. Whereas, if we compare the P/B ratio, then open ocean having the highest P/B ratio, where the production is very much higher as compared to biomass accumulation. And in all the aquatic ecosystem, we can see a large amount of P/B ratio, which is very much higher as compared to the terrestrial P/B ratio, except the lake and stream in the continental level. So it is found that P/B ratio is generally higher in aquatic as compared to terrestrial ecosystem. I hope this video will help you to understand the concept of primary production in terrestrial as well as aquatic environment. Please subscribe and like and share my channel for further updates and videos related to ecological concepts and other topics related to preparation of CSIR net. Thank you.